No!
Wow.
It's not going to kill, though.
It ain't going to kill.
It's not going to kill. It's Sherry going to bet it all with an EXTP.
Oh.
Oh, my God. No. All right,
Lucia.
Oh, Sherry, you need to calm down. Ooh,
nice crouching jab.
Sticking your leg out and gets scratched the hell off. Sherryjenix wins the set. Damn.
What up, homies? It's BornFree here. This is a very long video, so if you are short on time, use the timestamps to get to specific questions or topics that you're interested in. They are in the description below, also in the pinned tweet for mobile users. There are also podcast options, which I will be expanding in the future, but you can find those in the description if that's your style. Big thank you to our Street Fighter and everybody who supported me in regards to sending me to Evo. Remember, all of these interviews were recorded just before or during Evo, so you understand the context of the timing, because I know a lot of shit has happened at Evo and post Evo. I'm also using new equipment. I was experimenting around from interview to interview, so with various things, whether it be settings and the camera, lighting, sound, and general setup. Some of it I'm happy with, some of it I'm a bit like, but it is what it is. And that's it. Please enjoy. Hey guys, BornFree here, welcome back to my channel. It is Sunday at Evo. I'm here with Sherryjenix.
What's up, guys?
How the hell are you?
It's been a long day, but happy. Very happy.
Long day, but happy. So, Arslan just won Tekken.
Yes, he did.
Right? Mm-hmm. And you got him here.
Yes.
Is that about right?
Well, I got his visa. His team sent him out here.
His team sent him out, but you got him his visa.
Yes.
Right? So, talk to me a little bit about that. Let's jump into that, because it's called the EFight Pass, right?
Yeah. It's funny because I actually don't personally know Arslan at all. I just know his story from Evo Japan. And that story was released close to the time where EFight Pass was already in the process of being public or becoming public. Mm-hmm. So after maybe like a month after the whole Evo Japan that he won, I messaged him, randomly messaged him on Twitter, and I was like, hey, random question, but have you ever thought about coming to the U.S. to compete?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Serious?
And then he replied, he's like, yes, I do. He's like, who are you? And I was like, I'm just I created this program called EFight Pass. We help foreign players get their U.S. visas to come to the U.S. I'm not a lawyer or anything, but like we help pay for the visa. Yeah. And then I just walk you through the process, make sure you have all the proper documentation. I can get you the invitation letters and whatever, and just prepare you for your interview as well. And he was like, I'd love to be a part of it. Thank you so much. He's genuinely a great guy. And so then I set it up. And it's funny because I do it through Skype. So he can share his screen with me on the application process, and I kind of just walk him through what he needs to fill out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. And then so when I called him on Skype, he's like, wait a second. You're a woman?
Oh, really?
I was like, yeah. And then he was like, yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't know, but I saw your profile picture. And I was like, I just didn't think about it. For some reason, I just thought you were a guy the whole time. And I was like, no, I'm a woman. He's like, okay, yeah, cool, let's do it. And it was really easy. We stayed on Skype. The process takes about like 2 hours max to fill out the application.
Wow.
I made sure he put in all the correct information, the Mandalay Bay address, since you had to put the address of where you're staying and whatnot. And he grabbed all the correct documents that he needed. I got him an invitation letter from Evo. He had everything. It was great, and he was very smart individual. So I knew he was going to do well on his interview. And it's funny because I knew when his appointment was, and normally I call them a couple hours before or the night before and kind of just prep them for the interview. I'm just like, are you ready? Don't be nervous. Like, they might ask you this. Just answer honestly. And I just gave him like questions that they potentially would ask him, just so he's ready to answer them with confidence and not nervous at all. Yeah. And he was ready. And I had messaged him about an hour from an interview. Normally people, like, you get the approval or rejection immediately after the interview. They just tell you on the spot.
Oh, they do?
Yeah, and he didn't say anything for an hour. Normally someone would, like,
Oh, wow.
normally if they get it, they'll be like, oh my god, I got it. Or they'll be like, oh, I didn't get it, sad face. I didn't hear anything from him, right? So now I was, like, getting nervous. I gave him, like, 2 hours, I think, before I texted him. And I was like, how did it go? And he responded a couple hours later with a sad, like, crying face. And then I was like, no, don't tell me he got rejected. And then I was like, oh my god, you got rejected? And he was like, no, I got it. he's like, no, I got it. I'm so happy I got it. Thank you so much. And I was like, dude, why did you send me a crying emoji?
Face.
Yeah. But I guess it could have gone both ways. But I was really, really happy for him. He was really happy as well. Yeah, and it was just great. And he already had the flights because he flew out here for WSOE. So he already had a flight lined up and everything worked out for him. And here he is winning EVO.
I mean, he's won EVO Japan and he's won EVO. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah. He's an amazing player.
Yeah, he's an amazing player. And that's an amazing thing to do. So can you just tell me, I know you've probably told a million people before, but where did this come about for you, the EFight pass? Like, that's what it's called, right?
Yeah, EFight pass.
I keep thinking it's called something else, but yeah.
It was actually an idea that I had end of last year. Because end of last year I went to Thunderstruck, which was in September, and that's in Monterrey, Mexico, and that's where I met El Tigre. So he was my beta test.
Okay.
He was really good, and I knew everybody always talked about him because he's people from SoCal. You know, they play against a lot of Mexican players, and everybody always heard about this crazy Laura player from Mexico named El Tigre that they always run into online. So I saw him in person, and he was doing really well. And that Thunderstruck, he got second, I believe, or he got third, top 3.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah, he's really good. And I was playing with him in casuals. And I asked him, I was like, why don't you ever come to the U.S. and compete? You're in Mexico. You're not too far from us. And he told me that it's 160 USD for a visa. And it's non-refundable. So whether or not you get accepted or rejected, like that 160 is gone. And 160 USD is a lot to, a lot of people in foreign countries. So he said he didn't want to take the gamble. Yeah, he wanted to save some money. He didn't want to risk just losing $160. So I thought about just personally just giving him the 160 and like helping him out. And then I think it was either the same month, just a couple of weeks later I went to DR, Dominican Republic.
Yeah.
That's where, Mena was my friend already. And that's where I met Crossover. And that's where I met Picaro. Picaro's from Peru, but he was there for the tournament. And Crossover, he got second, I believe, to Mena. Well, he got top 8. Let's just say that because I can't remember exactly what his placing was. But I already knew he was really good. And Picaro was really good because I played him in a first to 10. And I had asked both of them the same thing. I was like, dude, you guys are really good players. DR's not that far from the U.S. Why don't you come out? And Picaro was sponsored. So I was like, oh, why don't you just have your sponsor fly you out to a tournament in the U.S.? And they both said the same thing. The U.S. visa was an issue for them.
Right.
And
so then you were like, that's when it started clicking with you, like, oh my god, this is really a big problem.
Yeah, it's a big problem, especially in Latin American countries.
Yeah.
So, and Crossover, I watched all the Latin American regional finals.
Yeah.
Crossover actually qualified for Capcom Cup.
Okay.
And then I originally helped him just a bit, not to this extent of EFight Pass, but I helped him, like, if he needed any information, like, I was like, oh, they're asking you to do this, or they're asking you for this info. So I actually helped him with that visa for Capcom Cup last year. And unfortunately, he got rejected, and he had to give his spot up to Picaro. And luckily, because Picaro got that invitation, he was able to get his visa and come to the U.S.
Okay.
Because Picaro was the other person I had in my mind for my beta test. It was going to be El Tigre, Crossover, and Picaro.
Yeah. For
my first 3 candidates for EFight Pass. But Picaro got it already. Then I was just like, you know what? I'm going to help these. I want to help El Tigre and Crossover. And I was just like, you know what? When Crossover's story went kind of viral because he said he had to give up his spot. A lot of people in the community were like, I want to help you. Tell us what we can do to help you.
Sure.
And I think a lot of people in the community want to help. They just didn't have like an outlet. Like they didn't know how to help him. So I kind of thought about it. I was like, well, I want to help these 2 people. And I'm pretty sure the community would want to help other players as well.
Yeah.
So let me kind of like make a way for the community to help. So I was like, let me make a website. And it'll have all the information on how to get a visa, like the process, what they should do, some tips and advice, so players themselves can do it even if I don't know them. And then there can be like an application process for players that I don't know, because obviously I don't know all of the great players out there in this world. And donations, like have donation buttons for the community to donate, so they could donate directly to the visa funds.
Where can people go to donate?
EFightPass.org.
Okay.
So they can donate straight to the visas to help players get their visas, or they can donate to like travel funds. So because we don't guarantee travel funds, since that's much more expensive, we just guarantee the help of getting a visa.
Okay.
But luckily, I've been able to work out like the players that were able to come to Evo. Every player who got their visas approved made it to Evo this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
With the help of the community.
Fantastic.
I had a donation, like I had a charity tournament at Super Arcade in May. So all the proceeds from that went to some of the visas, and a majority of it went to paying for their hotel room here at the Mandalay.
Oh, wow.
'Cause it was like $1,000 to stay here.
Yeah.
So all that went to that. And luckily, there's a funny story on how I got like the flights for the players to get here.
Oh, go on.
Justin Wong, he does this thing where he sponsors players to come to tournaments, right?
Yep.
And he had made an announcement. He was like, "Oh, send me some video submissions, and I'll choose which players I want to choose to fly out to Evo."
Yeah.
And we were just having a conversation on Facebook Messenger, and he was just saying, "Man, I don't know what other players to get." And coincidentally, Zenith, my player from Brazil, a couple hours earlier was saying, "Hey, I really appreciate the visa, but my ticket's about 1,200 USD. I honestly don't know how I'm gonna get 1,200 USD." And I said, "Let me figure out something for you. Like, I'll try to help as much as possible." And then Justin had messaged me, and I was like, joking with Justin, and I was like, "Hey, I got some players that might, work for your program." And he responded with like, haha. And that was it. Yeah. And I was like, okay, he's not gonna help. It's fine. And then a couple hours later, about 2 hours later, Justin was messaging me. He's like, "How much do you really need to get these players out here?" And I was like, "Well, I have 3 players, 2 from Mexico, El Tigre and Anya, and 1 from Brazil. And the Brazil one's the expensive one." And I was like, "So I need about like 2-ish grand." He's like, "It's sent over to your PayPal." I was like, "Oh shit." Okay, Justin. And I was like, "Oh my god, they're gonna be so happy." I was like, "You don't even understand." He's like, "Yeah, like they just gotta wear my jersey." And I was like, "Dude, I'm sure they wouldn't mind at all, especially since all of them look up to Justin." Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure Justin knows by now, but I don't know how much like the name, like his name, the extent of his name is to like all these foreign players.
Right.
Like people talk about Justin all the time.
Right.
So I didn't tell them. I just told them, I was like, "Hey, I got you guys a sponsor. I'm not going to tell you who yet, but don't worry about how you're going to get to Evo." And they were just like, "Oh my god, thank you so much, Sherry." And I actually flew to Vegas for one night just to make the announcement video with Justin.
Wow.
And it was great. It was great. They were so happy, and they're like, "Oh my god, Justin Wong is sponsoring us." And they had a great time. They all placed the top 96, I believe.
Okay.
Here. So they did pretty well.
They did well.
And Arslan won Evo, so.
And Arslan won Evo, yeah. Exactly.
But that's how EFight Pass started, and that's where we are now. And now working on getting funding for Wave 3 players.
Okay.
Because this Evo trip depleted all the funds from like all the donations and the charity tournament.
So Wave 3 is aimed at a specific tournament, Evo Japan or?
There's no specific tournament, but I want to make sure, because the process is about 1 to 2 months long. Mm-hmm. And I want to make sure that all players at least have the chance of going to Evo next year.
Okay.
So El Tigre I started I think in December.
Okay.
Wave 2 I started I think in March, and then we that was already like kind of a close call.
Wow.
So that's why I'd rather start Wave 3 as soon as possible, so I don't have to like be worried, because Arslan got his visa maybe like 2 weeks before Evo.
So you mean like you're already aiming for Evo next year?
Yeah.
A year out. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But hopefully they can get it earlier, because there's obviously other tournaments. There's CEO, there's Combo Breaker, Final Round, yeah.
Well, maybe even Capcom Cup for
exactly.
some people. Yeah.
But so Capcom's process actually for Latin America, their regional finals is in Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory. So they wouldn't be able to make it to Capcom Cup anyways unless they can make it to Puerto Rico already.
So they have to already have gotten a visa.
Yes, and that's the end of October. So right now, all the potential Latin American players, like making sure they could get their visa.
Okay. Wow, that's an amazing thing. Like, it must feel pretty good at the end of the day to be able to do that for people, and then to see someone like Arslan.
Yeah, it made me really happy. It's just crazy because I don't think it's hit me yet. Like, I feel like it's such a small thing that I did.
It feels very selfless. Like it is very selfless, right? It's so. A lot of the time we're getting me included, like get wrapped up in self-branding. And Street Fighter League we had where we have to promote ourselves, just promote ourselves, just promote ourselves. And I recently had Street Fighter Reddit where I had to promote myself, and sometimes it's just like tiring. And I think this is a really nice balance mentally, like for you. But also doing great things for other people.
I mean, it also helped me out in SFL, I'm not going to lie. Because Brazilians were voting for me. The community in Pakistan voted for me.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, it was great. Mexico voted for me. Like, it was great. DR voted for me.
You're like trading visas for votes. You're like,
yeah, I was just like, I got your community as long as you vote for me in SFL.
That's funny. All right, well, let's talk about SFL as well then. There's a lot to cover, actually. But SFL recently, for you guys... quick summary is basically Street Fighter League had a voting process. Not sure there was the rules around it. Really, were just whoever is the most popular. Will make it in. But you needed people to vote via Smash GG, via Twitter, etc., etc. And it really got quite close. And there was at the end there was kind of like
controversy,
a little controversy where it was closed an hour early. But you made it in. Guilty made it in, Automatic made it in, and
Tommy Two-Step
made it in. He was also another one who was thinking out of the box. When I say out of the box, out of the FGC. He was I think he had like every member of his family and every member of his workplace, which happened to be a hospital.
Yeah.
Like logging into Smash GG and
I
voting
think,
for himself.
honestly, we all did that. I made my dad make a Smash GG account for me.
Oh, Guilty was. I mean, it was proper campaigning. It was like vote. It was proper voting. It was like Guilty treated it exactly like a normal politician would, and she was sending DMs to just anybody that she could
she
send.
spammed it.
Yeah.
Like, it was funny because it was like, it's because I reached out to everybody that I knew. Like, I have friends, like, so I had a friend in New York, and I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, like, did you vote for SFL yet? Like, if you didn't, can you please vote for me? And he was like, yeah, I got you. And then he's like, funny thing, and he sends me a screenshot. Guilty had, like, just sent him, like, an automated message, right?
Right.
And then I was like, oh, I didn't even know that Guilty knew you. And he's like, no, I don't know her at all.
No, yeah.
I was like, because he's a very local person. Like, he's part of the New York scene, but he's very, like, local. Like, you wouldn't know of him because he doesn't travel at all.
Yeah.
And I was like, how does she even know how to reach out to you on Facebook? Because Facebook is not even a gamer tag. It's your actual name.
Yeah.
So I was like, how did she even reach out to you? And I was like, whatever. Like, Guilty, got to do what Guilty does, And she obviously had the most votes.
Yeah, she knows how to hustle.
Her.
She knows how to campaign. I mean, that is campaigning. You just got to keep layering it, and you have to have, you just have to do what politicians do. Like it's like knocking on people's doors.
Exactly.
And like if you get a no, you get a no. That's it. Like move on and just keep going. And eventually, if you keep working, you will likely make it in.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, how did it feel to do it, to actually finally make it? Because that was a long slog, right?
Oh my god, it was a relief. I barely slept like the last 2 days.
Okay.
Because at first it was kind of consistent. I was like between second and third.
Yeah.
But we were far ahead by the others and it was fine.
Yeah.
And it was usually like, it was always Guilty, me, Automatic, and then the fourth was like Maureen, Tommy Two-Step.
Right.
It was going in between.
Maureen was in there for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was going in between them two and us three actually. And then one night I went to sleep for about like 4 hours and I woke up. I was in third place and Amezi was in second place.
Right.
This YouTuber.
Did you was that when you found out who he was?
No, I knew from him from season 1 because he did the same thing in season 1.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was just like everybody was kind of like, you knew everybody. It was like it was like Dual Kevin.
I didn't follow season 1 because that one happened really quickly. It was happening during an event and stuff.
It was happening during final round and it was only a weekend voting.
Oh, okay.
So I did kind of keep up. Like Brian F as well, he got voted in. But like we knew these players, right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden there was Amezi.
Yeah.
At 5th place.
Yeah.
And then everybody's like, I was like, wait, who is this guy? Yeah. And then I realized he's actually part of the FGC.
Oh, he's Zyke. Zyke's is Zyke's is pretty much a meme. I mean, he won't take that the wrong way.
Yeah.
He's like on event hubs and he defends. He's like Stan. He's like he is Street Fighter 5 Stan.
Yeah.
Basically, he will defend it, right? So Zyke's is Zyke's. Like he's sort of become a celebrity in that way.
Yeah.
He plays the game. He's just not. he also happens to be a huge YouTuber with
yeah.
1.3 million followers. So if you're put in a scenario where it's like literally
a popularity contest,
then of course you're going to use your 1.3 million
yeah,
followers.
it makes sense. But that's when I was like, I was panicking. I was stuck in Mexico, by the way, because I was on a company trip. If you see my geotag on Twitter on when I released that campaign, the very first campaign video I did, I was in Mexico.
Oh, I talked about that too. Yeah, the campaign video. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was funny because like, it was a company trip, and in the majority of the day we were kayaking and hiking and swimming in an area with no signal. It was a reserve, right? So I couldn't post my video, and I couldn't post that I opted in or anything, right? So I'm like kayaking and chilling, and then I get signal every now and then, like little blots of signal. And then I saw like Anton and Frankie, Filipino man, and Stupendous in my chat. They're like, "You need to post your video now, Sherry. You need to post your video now." And I was like, "I can't post my video because it takes so much data to post a video." I was like, "I can't do it. I have to get back to the Wi-Fi first." And then they're like, "No, you don't understand. Like the votes are like in the thousands right now." And I was like, "How?" I was like, "This is the first day." And they're like, "No, man. Everybody's been campaigning. Like you need to do it." And I was like, "I'm about 3 hours away from home. Like you guys need to wait." And they're like, "Okay, we're just letting you know you're really behind." So I was like panicking. I couldn't like. It sucks because I was on a company trip, but I was stressed the whole time. Finally got back to the Airbnb, uploaded my video, and luckily I shot up to second place after I uploaded the video. And then I was like, "Okay, I'm in a good spot. And again, one night I went to sleep and I woke up and there was Zykes in second place and I was in third place. And that's when I was like, "Okay, I need to start actually campaigning and not just posting videos." I went through. I was following 693 people on Twitter. Now only 691 because I realized 2 of them were like accounts I don't even talk to anymore. I messaged almost everybody that I still talk to, and I was like, "Hey, I need you to do this thing for me, please. And I understand if you can't." And everybody said yes. They were all nice, and they all said yes. All the UK guys did it. Majority of them did. Affy, like, just a majority of them, and all the smashers. Let's see, like Nakat, Hugo, Hugs, D1, like, and those were votes, like, because you know in the system you can switch votes from one player to the other, like.
I didn't know. I didn't know. I don't know. I don't actually really understand how that works.
Yeah. So the system of voting is you log into Smash UG, you connect your Twitter to it. And then when you vote, it'll automate a tweet for you, and you have to tweet it, and that's how the vote counts. So the system actually only counts who you last tweeted for.
So you can do it again.
So if you did it again for a different person, it takes the points away from the first person and gives it to the second person. Because for a moment in time, I did lose a couple votes. And then I was just like, "How am I losing votes? What's going on?" And then I was told that's what happens. And I was like, "Okay, so that means I need to get votes from people that aren't in the community. So I don't need to be fighting for the same votes." So I got all the Smash community, like all my homies in the Smash community.
And there's like, I mean, like I've done this myself, and it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
It is.
It's tiring. I can understand like you not sleeping. Like I had a very emotional moment like after when I had done my Reddit one, right? Because I was campaigning properly, and same thing. It was just like, you know, and you're spamming stuff, and like actually Twitter doesn't allow you to spam. You can spam so much, and then it tells you to stop. Right, and then you have to wait 10 minutes, and then send some more messages or whatever. But it's incredibly tiring.
It is. And I didn't want people to think that, like, because I know Guilty was just copy and pasting and sending it to everybody, right? I wanted people to feel that, like, because they were my friends I was reaching out to. I didn't want them to think that, like, I was just. So I actually I typed out every single message to every person that I messaged. I was like, "Hey," I said their name. I'd be like, "I know this is random," or whatever personal experience I had with them, I would be like, "Oh, I know I haven't talked to you since."
Oh wow, that's great. I would just change the name. And so my method was I would change the name, and then in brackets I would put, "Listen, this is a cut and paste, right? Like I know that we probably know each other really well, but like please excuse this. But it's the only way I can get it done. Like so I put a caveat in rather than that's even more effort.
I was typing all day. I had to work at a car show in Philly. And my phone was dying, and I had to like stand by the wall plugged in the pillar while I'm supposed to be working. And everybody was trying to talk to me while I was just standing by the pillar, and I was like, "Hold on, I'm typing a message right now." So I was distracted the whole time the entire weekend. My coworkers are tired of me. My friends are tired of me. But they all voted for me because they love me, and I made it
It
in.
worked out, yeah. But it is tiring.
Yeah, it is.
So once you finally made it in, I guess you were probably happy, but you're probably tired. Because like when I always compare some of these things to like passing an exam. Like you always think you're going to be elated, but you're not passing an exam, finishing an exam. You know when you like study for an exam, you study, and the last few days you just don't sleep, and then you sort of go into the exam hall and you get it done, and you think that you have these dreams before you go into the exam hall that you're going to party. You're going to have such a good time. You're going to get to do all these things that you couldn't do, like watch TV and just anything, right? It just seems amazing.
Yeah.
But by the time you finish the exam, it's just like you're tired.
Yeah,
like,
you just want to sleep.
You just want to sleep.
Just lay there and not do anything.
Yeah. But now it's good. Now you're in, I guess. I mean, I know, but I don't know when things start kicking off. Like, I don't know whether that's immediate, like whether they're already talking to you and planning things or what have you. I mean, you maybe can't say anything. I don't know.
I don't think I'm allowed to say anything.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to. I you know, that's just how I imagine it is. You know, I just hope you had like a breather, a minute to just like, you know.
Well, not much since Evo was this weekend.
Right, Evo's another thing. Well, talk to me about your Evo. How's your Evo been?
Evo doesn't feel like Evo to me anymore.
I kind of feel the same way, actually.
Mainly because I'm sure we all started off as like small. Evo was much smaller time back then. I was just a player, so all I cared about was this is my pool time. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna get some practice in. I would stay in the salty suites until 7 a.m. playing.
Yeah.
And now it's like I have an interview this time, interview that time, photo op this time, and now I get to play. And then, I have to do this for my sponsor. Okay, I have to do that. I have to make an appearance here. Oh, and now I have to play again. And then at the end of the day, now I get tired when I'm at like 10, 11 p.m. And then I have to wake up around like 9-ish. It's like, it's not what it used to be. It is still fun because obviously it's great seeing everybody. And I still get to play.
Yeah. It's just different.
It is different. Like,
it's just different.
I don't like thinking like, okay, I can only play for an hour because I have a meeting at 5. Like,
well, you have responsibilities now.
No, it sucks. Being an adult sucks.
But I mean, like, as a personality, not even as an adult, like, as somebody who's not just playing, who's doing a bunch of different things, including this, right? Mm-hmm. It's like, it's a lot, you know, and you make sacrifices as well for this, because I'm the same. Like, I could be at a steakhouse right now with my friends are at a steakhouse, right? And I'm like, will you wait for? And they're like, no, wait, no.
I've been there. They're just like, I'm definitely not waiting for you. Yeah.
They're like, we're really hungry, and we want to go, and I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, so on the playing side of things, you know, obviously, does that still feel? Do you still feel hungry like when you play? Because I don't know that ever goes away.
Yeah, it doesn't. As a competitor, it'll never go away. And it's funny because I was like stuck in this space where I know a lot of people in this community know me as a personality. And now that it's a newer community, it's funny because now people were just like, I remember someone tweeting to me when I made it to SFL, they were just like, oh, I didn't even know Sherry played Street Fighter. I'm just like, excuse me. I am a Street Fighter player still, okay? That, to me, like, I still want that to be my number one goal. And I understand I'm going to be distracted, and I will lose focus because of everything else that is going on around me. But I do care a lot. I mean, I'm still salty when I lose. But I still practice. I practice with a good amount of friends that I made along in this community. And but my Twitter has never been a thing where I kind of like say, hey, watch, I'm not a streamer or anything also. So I understand that there's like this perception that I'm not a player anymore. A lot of people are just like, oh, she's just an ambassador, she's a personality, she does this, she does that. And I go to tournaments, everybody knows that. But I don't really post about like, oh, here's a new setup I found, or... Right.
I mean, like, it takes a certain amount of time and, you know, out of your day to be fully focused and obsessed with making top 8 or whatever, right? And, you know, from what I know is, you know, obviously you play Nikali, you beat me very easily, right? But you also, you know, you've got all these other things going on, and that's how it is for some people, you know, like within the community. There's room in the community for lots of different types of people doing lots of different types of things, and not everybody is 100% focused on,
True.
like, I'm going to go win Evo.
Yeah.
You know? And the EFight pass is a good example of something which, you know, in many ways you could argue... I don't want to pick on any particular game, but you could argue it's a big contribution, right? A very big contribution. So yeah, it is. Going back to SFL, just real quick, your video that you did, I don't know how many videos you did, but there was like
I did 2.
You did 2? Mm-hmm. Okay, because I saw like the Hillary Clinton one.
Yeah.
I think it was like a Hillary Clinton one. And what surprised me actually was how much respect you had for the audience. And because I'm terrible, I tend to think very widely. I tend to think like, people aren't going to quite get this. Mm-hmm. So like when I saw the video, it was so dry and so political. I was like, it's dope.
Yeah.
But I was like, I was amazed at how much respect you had for your audience to kind of get it. You know?
I thought about it at first, and I was like, I don't know if this is too like niche for people to get it. But I was like, you know what? People, it's a universal thing to complain about top tiers and low tiers. So I'm just going to make it, that part was as generic as possible with the whole low tier thing. Vote for me because I'm a low tier player. And I knew the Street Fighter players, if they watched the whole video, I knew they were going to laugh when they saw me scroll through like the characters, when I was naming the broken characters.
Oh, I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, so it was a point where I was just like, you know, help me in this fight against the army of top tier characters, like, and I went through the Capcom Pro Tour standings right now. So it was like Karen, Bison, Karen, Rashid, Mika, and then Machabo was there with the Kali, and I blurred him out.
Oh yeah, I did see that one.
Yeah. So I was
funny.
like, okay, people will get that if they watch the whole video. Yeah, so that was an idea I came up with in the spot, because originally when I wrote my script, I just named basically almost all the characters except for Nikali. I was just going to do like some drawn out list like G, Mika, Karen, Akuma, Rashid, Ibuki. Like I was just going to go like that. And then I was like, no, I'd rather have an image there. And I was like, okay, what if I just scroll through the Capcom Pro Tour standings? And coincidentally, it was like Karen, Bison, Karen, Ibuki, Rashid, Karen, Mika. Like I was like, this is so perfect. And I was like, man, but Machabo's there. That kind of ruins my argument. And I was like, but if I blurred him out,
it's funny. Yeah, it's funny.
I was like, okay, that's good humor. And I was like, you know what? I'm doing that. So
it was good.
It worked out really well.
So you've been involved in a lot, because like we're constantly experimenting in the FGC. Like we got SFL, we got bans on characters. We've various tournament formats, Capcom Pro Tour, Evo, whatever, right? And you're also in ELeague, the reality TV show, right? Which was, again, another opportunity to experiment and try and reach new people. What was that experience like, being in it? And how do you reflect on it now?
It was a great opportunity. It was one I wasn't going to take. And it's funny because, like...
You weren't going to take it?
I wasn't. I didn't apply for it at first. Well, one is kind of fishy because, like, Big Fish casting was who you would send your resume to. Okay. And people were just like, I've never heard of this.
I do remember that going around.
There was a lot of controversy. People were just like, is this real or is this not real? Because Capcom didn't say anything. It was just this random casting agency and asking for people's resumes and applications and stuff. And it was a lot of personal information. So people were just like, oh, this is a scam. They just want your information. And then, so I didn't apply at first. And a lot of people like buy in them, like they pushed me. They're just like, I think you should apply for it. I think it would be a good opportunity for you. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll try it. And then I got it. They talked to me. They're like, hey, we would be interested in interviewing you and stuff. And we interviewed through Skype. And I was like, okay, they seem pretty legit. And then, they ended up choosing me.
How many people did you have on Skype? Did you have a boardroom full of people?
No, it was just one person.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was just one person. But it was great. And it's funny because I actually wasn't even going to enter SFL Season 2 either.
Okay.
Because I get it. I understand that I do get a lot of opportunities. Yeah. And I would love other players to get other opportunities as well. Yeah. And I don't want to push... For example, the example that I was giving to my friends was if I had opted in for Season 1, because I did consider it as well, Dual Kevin was the last person to make it in for SFL Season 1 for voting. Okay. So if I had made it in, I would have kicked him off his placing. And look at how well he's doing this year,
It's true. I mean, it's a difficult thing, like what you have, it depends what you're entering into, but like, I think opportunities in the FGC are pretty difficult to come by.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like if you get them, and if people are pushing you a little bit, and they want you to do it, you know, certainly I felt in the past like, okay, well, people nominated me. Like my last one, there was a few stages, so there was like a nomination stage, and I was like, okay, well, people nominated me, so I was like, all right, let's see where this goes. And then the voting started, and I was like, well, I guess I should start campaigning, and then it kind of worked out. But it is one of those things where it's like, just like tournaments, like people are gonna win and people are gonna lose.
Basically, that's what I asked everybody. I was like, Justin, I asked Ricky, I asked my friends. They were just like, you deserve this opportunity just as much as anybody else. And it's a voting thing. Like, if people don't think you deserve it, they won't vote for you, and it's fine.
Right, and if you've you're a contributor to the FGC. You know, I think, you know, I also think that's incredibly important. I mean, I would say that coming from where I am, but like, you're a contributor to the FGC. You know, you know, players are contributors, content creators are contributors, people who get freaking Arslan Ash a visa to come win Evo is a contributor. You know, these are all amazing things. So yeah, I think you definitely deserve it. But yeah, there's always going to be that element of like, oh god, did I fuck it up for this person? Like,
yeah,
you know.
But that's why I'm just like, I will do my best. I don't think I'm a scrub at all. I think I can compete pretty well, so I think I'll do my best. And for those who, you know, kind of don't, because again, people don't really see me as a player anymore, and I understand that. But hopefully I can kind of change that with us.
Well, you have to have a second character, maybe.
Maybe.
It depends what team you're on, because like they might not ban you, but it depends.
Exactly, but I'm thinking.
But also, when they do the ban, it goes across 2 teams. So if you're facing somebody with a strong Nakai, I don't know anyone.
Exactly. There's no other Macaulay there except for me.
There isn't, right? There's no other. Okay,
yeah,
all right.
So there's, I mean, I'm playing on the chances that one, again, according to my campaign video, Macaulay's low tier. We all know he's not actually low tier. But compared to who the captains are and who made it through the qualifiers, which is Idom, XSK Samurai, Mojo, and Dank, I'm sure they would ban their characters before they ban my Macaulay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a strategy behind this.
No, there is for sure, absolutely. So you played Nakali in Street Fighter 5, right? And you used to play Viper, right?
Yep.
In Street Fighter 4. Yeah, I remember that. That was. Are you is that a character you want to see return?
I would love to see her return.
You would?
But I've given up. I've given up.
You giving up on Viper?
I've heard starting from season 1 that she was going to be in Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
So every year, there's like,
Yeah.
are you ready, Sherry? Are you ready? Because Viper's coming. And I was like, oh man, how do you know? And they're like, oh, we just know. We just know she's coming. Every single year, I get disappointed. I was like, you know what? I'm done having hopes for Viper coming. She's just not going to come.
Right. Yeah, well, I guess we'll see. I've heard some rumors, and there's actually there is a legit guy out there who put out a tweet about a week before who was like mysteriously knew the 3 characters.
Yeah, I saw
like,
that tweet.
Yeah. He was like, wouldn't it be great if we had Lucia, E-Honda, and Poison? And like,
extremely specific.
yeah. You'd be like, what do you want, man?
Yeah.
What the hell? But yeah, you did pretty well with that one. So I guess we'll see. Still got a bunch of stuff to talk to you about, but that's happening right now. Before I talk a little bit, I want to get into a little bit of your history as well. But they had the Women of the FGC panel this weekend. I think the idea is to inspire more women to come into the scene. I remember interviewing Tom Cannon a few years ago, and there was a tournament in 2010, which was a Street Fighter tournament specifically for women.
The Ladies of Evo, yeah.
Yeah, and it was an invitational kind of exhibition type of thing.
It was an open tournament.
Yeah, it was a tournament, but what I'm saying is you could still enter the main tournament as well.
You had to enter the main tournament. If you wanted to.
Oh, you had to both?
If you wanted to enter the Women of the, or Ladies of Evo tournament, you had to enter the main event as well.
Okay. But it got some backlash, and after we had finished the first interview that I did with him, he actually said, I forgot to talk about my biggest regret. My biggest regret was that there was some backlash from the community, and I actually wish I'd pushed back on it and did it again the following year.
I wish you did it again.
Let's take a step back. Why is it important? Why was this panel important?
It was so important because, especially the diversity we had on the panel. Like, it wasn't just competitive players. There was me and Maureen as competitive players, and Ricky, and then there was Kat there as a TO, Sam as just everything, as a host, player, and Janae, she was like she also plays as well, but she's also she's a journalist. So it was great that people were asking us so many different questions. Equinox Rose was there. She was a team manager.
Yes, she's great.
So it's just like we just had so many different roles in the community. So when people, because the way that the panel was, it was like a townhouse Q&A. So people just asked us questions and we just answered them, and it was perfect because it came from so many different perspectives. But we all basically had the same general like answer. A lot of people asked us. There was a lot of girls who asked us like, how do you deal with this situation? How do you deal with that? And what are your thoughts on? One of the questions was like, how do you feel about an all-women gaming team? So it's kind of similar. My response to that was very similar to my thoughts on the whole Ladies of Evo tournament. The panel was great because it gave a lot of people perspective on what's really going on. And it's coming from women who experience it like at tournaments. And I think it helps because people heard it from us. There were a lot of personal stories and a lot of personal takes.
Right.
So it's not generic answers. This is all from personal experience.
Okay. And you can see that on Cross Counter, right?
Yep.
So
they streamed it and they also recorded it.
They recorded it. Okay, so you can. I'll have to check that out when I get back. When I get back to New York. In those early days, did it feel extremely difficult, or did you have friends who?
It's funny because I didn't know anyone in the FGC.
All right, well let's talk about that then. What is your story? Like, how did you?
It's a really random story.
Okay, let's go for it.
It's funny though. Actually, so I'm still pretty known in the import scene. This cars.
Yes.
I've always.
Because you're a mechanic / something more important than that. Like.
Right now, my day job is just sales and marketing for wheels.
Oh, okay.
But I do have like my auto tech certification.
Okay.
I got that in high school. I was always.
But you can call yourself a physicist or something. Is that
yeah.
right? I saw that.
I have a bachelor's of science in physics as well.
Oh, okay, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I gave up the physics. I actually gave up physics. I was doing geophysics and I gave up the physics side of it and just did geology because the physics side of it is extremely hard.
I actually started as mechanical engineering, and it got really boring.
Oh, that's what my dad did.
Okay, and then I was like 2 years into that. I was like, now I'm gonna switch to physics because I had a lot of fun. I did honors in AP Physics in high school.
Damn, this is a very, very smart person I'm talking to right now.
It was fun. But yeah, a lot of people don't know that about me. But yeah, so I was always into the cars, and I went to a whole bunch of car shows. I'm originally from Philly.
Why were you always into cars?
I don't know why.
It wasn't a family thing or anything? It was just like legit
If you actually meet my family, you would think I was adopted.
Oh, really?
The way that like my family is actually, I want to say introverted, but they're definitely not as adventurous as I am. They're very quiet. They don't eat as much as me.
Where does it all come from?
Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
So that's why there's just like there's something like my brother used to make fun of me and say that I was adopted, and usually when a kid hears that they would like be kind of hurt, like I'm adopted, but I was like, you might be right about that. You know? So, well, my friends were into cars. So that's obviously where I got my influence from. But growing up in Philly, we all took public transportation there. The economy in Philly is just not as great as it is in Southern California. Like, nobody had cars in high school in Philly. We still took the train. We took the bus everywhere. And my junior year of high school, I moved to SoCal to live with my dad. Okay. And everybody in high school had a car. Like, it was just normal to have a car in high school. And then...
Was that a culture shock moving from Philly to Cali?
Oh, it's a huge culture shock. Okay. And at first I didn't like SoCal. I hated SoCal.
You did?
But now, if you talk to me about SoCal, I just say I would never move out of SoCal.
Okay.
Yeah, huge culture shock. And I was always into cars. But when everybody had a car in SoCal, there's these things that we have called car meets. It's kind of like a local. Okay. It's like there's one day of the week where all of us who kind of have the same cars would drive out and hang out in a parking lot, and we would talk to each other about cars or about personal life, whatever. We just became a group of friends. Okay. And we would do things like caravan through the mountains, do photo shoots at the beach. Like, it was really fun. Yeah, okay. And then we go to each other's houses.
Very sociable, yeah.
We mod our cars. I used to install parts on my friends' cars. It was really fun. It was a good thing. Anyways, I went to car shows, and there's this guy there, one of my friends. We called him Dan Tam. His name's Daniel.
Dan Tam?
That was his name.
Why did you call him that?
That's just his name. It's like a...
Oh, but first name, second name thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay.
we just called him Dan Tam. and he disappeared for about like 2 years. And he was really into the car scene.
Huh.
And for some reason, I just never asked him what happened. And one day, I go to Arcade Infinity. And my friends play Initial D, that's why. I barely played any games growing up, so I didn't really play Initial D either.
Wait,
I went there.
Okay, yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, I went there to hang out with my friends. And they were having a Ran bat for Street Fighter 4.
Okay.
And Dan Tam was there. And I look at him, and I was like, Dan Tam! I was like, what are you doing here? I haven't seen you in so long. And he was like, oh, man, like, I'm a competitive Street Fighter player now.
Wow.
And I was like, what's that? I never even heard of Street Fighter. And I was like, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's a fighting game, pretty popular. And people actually call me Shiggle BMX now. That was his gamer tag, Shiggle BMX.
Shiggle BMX, okay.
Yeah, he was actually one of the original Blanca players from SoCal. It was him and Mobile.
Okay.
So he was like, hey, let me talk to you outside. So we're outside, and he's like, so there's this tournament in 2 weeks called Ladies of Arcade Infinity.
Oh, okay.
And it's an all-girls tournament, and what the guys are supposed to do, which are like the main people that go to Arcade Infinity, they're supposed to find a girl to train.
Okay.
And then enter them into the tournament.
Oh.
And he's like, I
okay.
haven't found a girl yet. He's
Okay.
like, but would you want to be that girl? And I was like, dude, you don't want me. I was like, I've never played a fighting game in my life.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks isn't a long time. He's like, dude, it's just for fun. Like, it'll be really fun. And you get to meet the community and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, you know what, let's do it. I was always outgoing and stuff. So I didn't mind trying new things.
Yeah.
Went to his house. He showed me like the character selection screen. And he's like, okay, choose a character and I'll try to help you. So I'm just like scrolling around. And I end up on Sea Viper. Redheaded chick, and I was like, oh, she's hot. She looks like Angelina Jolie. And I was like, let me see what she does. And he showed me like some of her stuff, all the cancels, flame kicks, thunder knuckles, and I was like, oh, this character is sick. And I was like, I want to play her. And he's like, no. And I was like, why? And he said she is way too technical for someone
yeah, I was gonna say.
who's never played a fighting game before.
Say,
I was like, I am extremely stubborn, and I think all my friends know this. So if you tell me I can't do something, it makes me want to do it even more. So I was like, no, I'm gonna play this character. He's like, well, I'm a Blanca player, so I can't help you with her. But I have this friend. He's one of the best Sea Viper players right now in the U.S. And I was like, okay. He's like, his name's Sherryjenix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
and I was like, okay. And I was like, he's like, his name's Ivan. Let me text him. We'll go over to his house and we'll start playing. So I went over to his house. He showed me, he was like, he wrote down a combo list for me. And he's like, here, you can borrow my PS4.
Like practice this.
Or PS3, yeah. He's like, you can borrow my PS3. And I went home and I tried doing it on pad. I was like, I can't do flame kicks on pad. So I looked at my uncle. I was like, Uncle, I know it's not my birthday yet, but could I get this fight stick? It was the very first original Mad Catz fight stick.
Yeah.
I was like, could I please get this for my birthday? And he was like, okay, fine, but you can't ask me for anything for your birthday. He's like, you better remember this. And I was like, okay, let's do it. So he gets me the stick, and now I'm practicing. Still can't do combos. I'm still like panicking. Couldn't get the timing of anything.
Yeah.
Went to the tournament. Met a whole bunch of people. Met Kino, Mike Ross.
Yeah.
Like the entire SoCal scene, like the originals.
Yeah.
I got destroyed in the tournament, but it was really fun meeting everybody. And since then, I went to the arcade every single day, right? And that was in June. That was like mid-end June.
Yeah.
And EVO was in a couple weeks. And there's like, hey, there's this tournament in Vegas. You should come. And I'm a car person, so I was like, oh, I can just drive everybody. It's fine. I'll drive us to Vegas. And they're like, oh yeah, let's do it. So drove to Vegas, entered the tournament. I didn't know anybody except for the people that I met in SoCal. And I went 0-2, lost to 2 Bisons. And that is the seed that makes me hate Bison. I still hate Bison to this day. But that's because of that, since Street Fighter 4. And that was Justin and Daigo in the grand finals. And I was like, oh man, they must be really good. And people were like, you don't know who Justin, Wong, and Daigo are? And I was like, no. And I was like, but they obviously have to be pretty good if they're in grand finals, right? And that's when Kamo...
What year was that?
That was 2009.
That's 2009, okay.
Yeah, and Kamo Fiend was playing Sea Viper at the time. He was the highest placing Sea Viper.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just like, oh my god, that's like my new idol.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know who he is, but his
yeah.
Viper is sick.
Yeah.
It's funny because I have that EVO 2009 like badge. I have Daigo's autograph. I have Justin's. I have Kamo Fiend's autograph. Ed Ma's.
Yeah.
Like, it's just funny that I have all their autographs now, and it's just like, I know all of them now because I've been in the scene for so long.
Same thing with me. I've got a fight stick at home. I have an old video of it. It's on a different channel. I'm going to archive it onto my new channel. It's got all those names on it.
Yeah.
My first one was 2011.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's weird because like at that time I was running around getting the names and, you know, and now like I've interviewed every single one of them.
Yeah, it's crazy. But that's also the origin of my name, Sherryjenix. Shigo BMX actually signed me up as Sherryjenix. So that name just stuck from Cryogenics. So every single time someone asks me how did I get my name, I'm just like, oh, props to my original mentor, Cryogenics.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Okay. So the tournament for the women was the one. Did you go into 0-2 in that one?
For the ladies of Arcane Infinity,
Yeah.
not for Evo.
Not for Evo. Okay.
I think Evo I got 9th.
You got 9th at Evo?
I think so.
Holy moly.
I think.
Wow.
Or 13th. Either way, I was very close to top 8, and I was really sad when I lost.
It's close
Yeah,
enough.
I was really sad when I lost. But like when I think about the grand scheme of things, I was really bad then. 2010, or was it 2011? Either way, I was really bad. So it's fine that I got 9th, which is surprising that I got that far, even being so bad. But there was actually about like 50 girls who showed up to compete.
Oh, there were?
Yeah, and that's in 2010, right? Like, think about it now. In 2000, next Evo 2020, there's so many more girls playing now, just in the regular tournament, that if we had like a Ladies of Evo again, if we had 50 entrants then, how many entrants could we have now? I think we would have a great amount of competitors.
So you'd be up for it, like another Ladies of Evo
I am.
tournament?
And it's funny, I know that we had a lot of backlash, but I always tell people, I'm just like, I came literally from an all-girls tournament.
Yeah.
And I've been in this scene for this long.
That's
like,
how you got in.
Exactly.
It's the door, it's the gateway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I would have entered a tournament if it wasn't all girls. I probably could have if my friend asked me.
It's just
but
it's probably a feeling of a little bit of a feeling of camaraderie, a feeling of
Exactly.
competition, but also a feeling of like I don't stand out like a sore thumb, with 1,000 guys
exactly.
and like one girl.
Yeah, and I think like if I came, and it was one out of like 12 girls that I came from Ladies of AI.
Right.
So if I was 1 out of 12, imagine all the strong female competitors that could come out now who would join feeling more comfortable first at an all-girls tournament.
Yeah. All right. So before we get onto some of the more generic questions, which people actually give me a hard time if I don't ask these days because they've become so prevalent. I want to ask you about the leaked, I guess, but they leaned into it. The trailer which came out of Street Fighter 5 with Honda and Poison and Lucia. What were your thoughts on that trailer?
The trailer was pretty good.
Yeah.
It would have been a great trailer if it was
With
really...
Viper?
Yeah. But it's funny because I did play E-Honda in Street Fighter 4.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually went 0-2 for 6 months in Street Fighter 4 until I played E-Honda against the Zangief.
Okay.
So it was funny because I don't know if you know the Mike Ross setup of Street Fighter 4.
The Mike Ross, what?
There's a Mike Ross setup.
Mike Ross setup. I don't know the Mike Ross setup.
It has something to do with putting them in the corner and then kind of doing like a mix-up by doing the neutral jump fierce, because he kind of move back and forth when he's doing neutral jump fierce, and you still end up in the front, but it confuses people. They think it's a cross-up,
Yeah.
and you end up in the front anyways.
Yeah.
I did that setup, and people were just like, oh, we've never seen it before. And then,
wow.
then Mike Ross did it, and then they were just like, and the people gave credit to him, and I was like, no, that was my setup. So we actually joke about it all the time. But I played Blanca, I played E-Honda, so I actually saw him in the trailer. I was like, I might play E-Honda, but I'm tired of playing charge characters. I'd rather, honestly, just wait for Viper to come out. But if I was to play a character out of those three, it would be E-Honda.
E-Honda, yeah. I think everyone's going to mess with E-Honda, even though they're like, we don't like E-Honda. You hear that a lot.
They would still play him.
They're still going to mess. They're going to mess with him. He's got a command grab.
And he still has a piano.
Yeah, he's still going to be... Yeah. Oh, he does? Okay.
It's not a piano motion anymore, and apparently it's only 4 inputs instead of 5.
Okay.
Because it used to be 5.
Yeah.
But I think he would still be fun. And Poison actually looks really good.
Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about Poison. For some reason, a lot of players are looking at Lucia and assessing her as, like, kind of... People don't seem to be as excited. I'm kind of excited by Lucia.
I think it's because her moveset looks kind of generic. Very similar to Cody's. It's a mix between like Sakura and Cody, like her roundhouse.
Okay.
And then like her whole the way that she moves is similar to how Cody moves for some reason. Like it just reminds me of Cody.
Really? I'm gonna have to take another look at it because I had somebody saying Chun-Li and Sakura. I think.
Sakura, yeah, I think that's a common one because of a roundhouse.
Yeah.
But yeah, she doesn't seem that interested. But again, I'm kind of like, I refuse to play blondes. So
You refuse to play blondes?
because I want to be loyal to Sea Viper, who's a redhead.
Okay.
So, I was
Okay.
like, everybody's like, oh, you should play Call.
I'm like that with a Akuma. My friend plays Akuma, but he picks the one with blonde hair, and I'm like, what
Yeah.
the fuck are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, you're supposed to be playing the red hair
Exactly.
guy.
That
Like,
is Akuma.
what do you, I understand. So you stuck with fighting games, right? So what hooked you in? Was it the competition?
Yeah. I've always been a competitive player. I used to do a bunch of sports growing up. I was track, basketball, softball,
Yeah.
and all that stuff. A mathlete, if that counts. So when I started playing fighting games, I don't want to say I'm a sore loser, but I don't like losing.
Yeah.
So that kind of like kept me going. But another plus was the community.
The community, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
You got in. You had somebody there, and then it sounds like a good story in terms of like the people that you met were the right people.
Yeah.
And
Like
yeah.
I didn't have any friends. Like Shiggle BMX was the only person I knew.
Yeah.
And then going to Arcade Infinity every day, I met Kino and I met Mike, Kai and Warren.
So it became
all
a
these
bit of
people.
an obsession.
Yeah. Oh my god. So when I started playing, it was summer 2009.
Yeah.
I worked, so I didn't have class, right? Because it was my
Yeah.
summer break. But I worked at a convenience store. And my shifts were the night shifts. So I worked from 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. or 1 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And I would literally go to the arcade either all in the daytime or all at night and just sleep. And it was like rinse repeat. I would be work, arcade, Denny's, sleep, and then rinse repeat, or arcade to
gosh.
work. Yeah.
Right.
And I just did it every
So
day.
you really were obsessed.
Yeah, it was just a really fun environment. And it's funny because I felt when I went 0-2 for 6 months, that's a really long time to go.
That is a
0-2.
long time to go into.
Yeah, and
So you're a stubborn person.
yeah, I'm a very stubborn person, and I actually thought about giving up. I was just like, Sherry, everybody has been playing fighting games since they were like 14, 15, even if it was just for fun. I was like, you literally started playing competitively right from the beginning at the age of 18, and you did not play any games growing up. Like, you were just not going to be as good. And I was like, you know what? I was like, it was like an internal battle because I was like, I've never given up on anything before either. And I think I can do it. So I would go through my stages of maybe I should give up. I'm not getting any better. And then I was like, no, I know I can do it. I can do anything I want to do. And I would just keep pushing. And eventually I started doing a bit better. But either way, I just couldn't give up. And here I am 10 years later.
Right, still in the FGC. Were there any other fighting games that you sort of got into or you want to get into? It's the end of the bloody video. Thank you again to our Street Fighter and all of my supporters who nominated, voted and contributed to send me and also Just Power Marine to Evo. I want to thank my patrons who are on screen now, particularly my biggest backers, Nathan Duncan, Terrence Harris, You Ain't Jeff and Steven Sense. New patrons are in green. Welcome. Thank you. You're making a difference. Twitch subs. You make a difference. Of course, you get shout outs on stream. Follow me on Twitch, people. The link is down below. Put the notifications on. I'm on pretty much every day at the moment, but it's a loose schedule because of my editing currently. Look out for the rest of my interviews from Evo. If you're new to the channel, check out some of my classic interviews and skits. There's a lot in there, particularly if you're a player and you want to understand a new player or a player coming up, you want to understand the mindset of some of the top players. Check it out. Until next time, see ya. Oh, and subscribe! Subscribe!